Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. This your boy Town Beer. So I just wanted to do a quick live before I shut it down for the night. But shout out Dickerson for coming forward and basically telling his truth, which many of us already believed. I have no reason to believe that Eric Dickerson is lying about basically the news he broke, in which we now have even more proof that Sador Sanders was intentionally screwed over by the NFL. He says he has proof from a credible source that teams were told not to draft Sador Sanders because they wanted to teach him a lesson. They wanted to make an example out of him about being an arrogant nigger and basically, you know, running his mouth, talking about where he's going to play and where he's not going to play, which we all know that came into play on why he slipped all the way down to the fifth round. And from what Eric Dickerson is saying, he wasn't supposed to be drafted, period. But Cleveland just finally said, hell, we'll take him. At the end of the day, they don't like guys that have the mentality, that have the thought process. They don't like to see a brother with confidence. I told you they don't like dudes that have the background that Sador Sanders has. He came from money. I told you they like the story of rags to riches, basically the urban black kid that had one parent in the household. Either he got raised by his father, or the father wasn't around, or he went to prison. Both of the parents was on crack. He had to live with his grandmother or some stuff like that. Or, he had to decide whether it was football or life of crime as a, drug dealer or whatever the case may be. They love those type of stories. So he basically didn't fit the mold of what they was looking for. And then, not to mention his father, speaking, that didn't help his case neither. Talked about, well, hell, if certain teams draft my son, we not gonna go play there. Once again, they didn't like when Eli Manning pulled it. So you can imagine how they felt seeing some black dude talking like that. You just have to tell the truth about these type of things, no matter how much people want to play these games and say, oh, race didn't have nothing to do with it. Oh, because a quarterback that was black was taken number one overall. That doesn't mean nothing. Different stroke for different folks. Okay, but don't play those games. So, with that being said, I just wanted to put that out there because this needed to be said. And Eric Dickerson said it's one of the high uppers. It's somebody that got a lot of clout, but Eric Dickerson said he's not gonna, reveal the source. Now, Eric Dickerson was one of the greatest running backs that ever played the game, and he still has the, single season rushing record. Almost was broken by Saquon Barkley. If they wouldn't have sat him out, that record would have got broken, but they made the decision to sit him out because they was chasing the overall gold, in which it paid off, in which they won the Super Bowl. So, like I said before, people are going to say, well, why would Eric Dickerson do something like this? Well, Eric Dickerson doesn't really have no extreme ties to the NFL. I mean, at the end of the day, he hasn't worked on Monday Night Football in years. He's in the Hall of Fame. His legacy is secure. But now, hey, we have the proof that we needed. We have the proof that we always knew and that we suspected. And you have people, oh, it's just a conspiracy theory. Y'all need to quit talking. He just, basically they, took a last minute look at him and they just decided he wasn't worth being drafted in the first round. Yeah, bullshit. So, with that being said, I just wanted to give props to, Eric Dickerson. Appreciate the man, telling his truth and telling the truth. This your boy Town. I'm out.